Good morning. I hope you guys are having a great day. It is another beautiful day here in East Tennessee. Just consecutive beautiful days here this week. And I'm down here to repot some succulent pups this morning. So I'm down here kind of early because I'm trying to beat the heat. Especially when it starts getting this time of year. You've got a window in the morning and then in the evening when the sun passes over. But I got to get going because it's going to warm up in here. And then we'll have the fan going and all the noise. So I'm going to start with a mixture of soil for my succulents, and I usually just mix it. I usually keep a running mix going, but I'm out, so we're going to get that going. All right, I'm going to start with a mixture of succulent soil that I make, and literally it's almost 50-50 of coarse grit sand and soil, and you can do like river sand or something like that that is well draining. Now, another thing I always keep in my arsenal is when I'm going to pot stuff, especially succulents, since they have a lot of sand in their pots, I normally put a coffee filter in the bottom of it, and that helps all the sand from coming out the bottom. Now, succulents do well with a very sandy mixture. They do not like their roots sitting in water. When it comes time to water, I always tell everybody, wait till the soil is totally dry and then maybe a few days and then water very heavily until it comes out the bottom. And then repeat again when they're totally dry again. And how often you water really has a lot to do with different factors. In here, in the full sun in the summer, I could water every day. In the wintertime in the house, you may only water once a month. So I look at the plant, I feel the soil, I do different things like that. Sometimes I don't even have to feel the soil. I just go up to a succulent and I see that their leaves look like they need water. They'll sometimes look wrinkled, and just after having them for a while, I can just tell by looking at them. But if you don't know, then you can kind of use just sticking your finger down in their method. And also another very useful tool is one of these. It's a moisture meter. And the reason why this is often very important is because a lot of times there's a top dressing on succulents, like rocks and things like that, just to decorate them. And you don't want to be messing through that to try to see if the soil's wet or dry. So you can just stick this down in there, and if there's any moisture at all, I don't water. I wait till it says dry. So this is very handy. I use this a lot of times. Now I need to start filling my greenhouse up again because I've moved things out for springtime and summertime. But I know I've got lots of free plants in here that I need to just look for. When I get down below some of these little echeverias, I see a pup inside here. And that's a new plant. That's her baby. And there's no reason to really leave that there because it's also taking away nutrients from the plant. And it will grow better if you remove it. So I just go in there and snip it. And there we have it. A new Echeveria blueprints. So we'll go ahead and pot this. Now you can pot this in whatever size container you'd like. I can give a little bit of advice on that. If you put it in something small, say for instance one of these little 2-inch pots, which would be totally fine, totally cute. Some people want to do that just to set somewhere in a really small space or just have a different look. The plant will stay small, and that's totally fine too. Doesn't hurt it at all. But if you want to move it to something bigger, this will cause the plant to grow to fill the container. I'll show you one of my echeverias that's in a really big pot. Now it took several years to get to this size, but it did. This is a really big echeveria. I just kept moving her to a bigger pot and she just kept growing. She blooms all the time. She just had a bloom and I just removed it. Now this is something different. It's called a graptivaria. It's kind of a hybrid succulent, but she's got pups down in here too. Now I'll have to decide if I want to leave them here with her because they look so cute right there. Now the key to repotting one of these that have just been cut is you're going to want to let it dry out and callus over on the tip for several days. Do not let it callus over in the direct sun. Make sure it's an indirect light. Any type of succulent you just cut off or leaves or anything you're propagating, you don't want to put them in direct sunlight right off. You need to wait till they develop their roots. Now I'm going to go ahead and repot it just to show you all how I do it. Now I'm going to be honest, sometimes I do go ahead and repot them before they dry out just because I've dealt with succulents for a while and I kind of know what to look for and how to baby them. Since I'm going to stick it down into the soil, I'll keep it in a shaded area at first. and won't water it for a little while until it starts getting roots. And how you'll know that is you just kind of tug on it, and if it stays in the soil, you know it's developed roots. You can go ahead and treat it like your other succulents. And they do not have to have a long stem to root. You can actually cut an Echeveria succulent right off the top that has no stem and set it right down on the soil. It doesn't even have to be dug into the soil, and it will root to the top of it. And an example is I keep one of these little trays here. I'm gonna make another one that's bigger because I'm running out of room. But I throw leaves and all kinds of stuff in here all the time, and I'll just toss them in here. And, you know, eventually they root on their own. I don't even do anything, no added effort to it. Now this is my lifesaver plant. It's called Huernia zebrina, and it produces those really super cool lifesaver looking type blooms, and I've noticed it's really filling out, and I really want to start a new plant off of it. So I'm just gonna take some new growth that I see on it and remove a piece or two, and then just start a new plant in here. And I just twisted off one of the new growths. Found a little shady spot for them. Right now, this is like a type of kalanchoe. Some people call them mother millions, mother thousands. There's different varieties. It's had a lot of babies in here. Probably just pull them up. Yep. Pull them up, and they have some roots already, which is good. Pretty cute. Now this plant was already rooted because it doesn't have pups the same way as some of the other succulents. And I'll show you guys what I mean. You'll see the pups like on the tips of the leaves. I got some over here too. You can see all of the pups on the ends of these leaves. And basically they just fall off and they're already rooted. A lot of them have roots you can see right there. You can literally just touch those and they'll fall off and root into the soil. And if you look inside the container, there's already been quite a few grown just from falling off these leaves right here. So they're very prolific as far as reproducing. All right, it's starting to get pretty warm in there, so I'm gonna take a break from there, do some other stuff around here, and then check back later today. We'll do some more repotting of some succulents, maybe dig into some of my propagation tray and see what we got in there, and go back to that a little later. Now, I went to the nursery yesterday and got a few other little things that I'm gonna repot too. I'll show you guys, haven't repotted them yet, but I got a jade. I love variegated jades. I have to get them when I see them. So this one's pretty cool. I will say something about variegated varieties of anything. Usually they don't take as much sun as everything else does. They burn much easier. So jades in general don't like full sun. So this one will definitely, I'll probably just put it in a shaded spot and it'll do fine. If you have a location that does have sun, morning sun would be best. It's not as harsh. And I got this little crassula right here. Just a little plug, so I've got to plant it. But I thought it was real interesting. I love crassulas, how they grow. They're so cool. And sempervivums are winter hardy. Generally, in most zones, they can stay outside in the winter and they'll do fine. They may not look pretty during the winter, but they'll liven back up in the springtime. Sometimes you have to clean the bottom leaves off of them. Most succulents you do anyways. Yeah, a lot of succulents you'll see like the bottom leaves, like echeverias and stuff, and think, oh, it's dying. Like this right here, they just do that. As they grow, sometimes you have to remove these leaves and they just kind of pop right off. And I wouldn't propagate that because it's just, I mean, as you can see, it's not a very good leaf. It's drying out. They'll eventually just dry up completely. And sometimes I just pull them off for aesthetic purposes. I'll show y'all my little propagation tray. So like I said, I need a bigger one, and I've been meaning to do it, find something or make something, because I have so many little offshoots everywhere that I can go throw in here, all kinds of leaves that I could really be propagating. And you can see, for example, one of my Graptivarias. Now this was a leaf I just literally threw in here, and it grew a plant, and it's not coming up because it's already rooted into the soil. So this mother leaf is where this plant is getting nutrients. It will eventually dry up and wither away. Now it's rooted in the soil, so it's definitely mature enough to just remove that leaf if you want to. Some people plant them under the soil. That's another option. I've done different things to see what works best, and I've had good luck with several methods, but a lot of times I'll just pick something up off the ground or that's fallen in another pot and just throw it in here, and they've all rooted, and you can see there's a wide variety of things. And the key to these things is just make sure you put them in a partial shade area, filtered sun, never harsh sun for anything propagating. It won't do well. But yeah, so they're doing pretty good. And these are obviously time to go put in another pot. All these little echeverias, most of these things in here have rooted. I've got some sempervivums in here. These are some of just the little babies I had in my front yard and some of those pots out there. I've got all kinds of things. Donkey's tail, aloes. And literally, succulents are so easy to propagate. You can just take a cutting about anywhere and they will reroot. But I have put some stuff here. This is my Aeonian black rose, and this one never likes a lot of light. And we'll get this one going because I love these. I love the Lifesaver blooms, Worthias. And I want to show you guys this beautiful Wandering Jew. It just gets prettier every day. It definitely likes the shade. But look at the color. It's a pink Wandering Jew. So pretty. All right, y'all, I am headed inside to do a few things inside, but I've always got something to do out here. Show you guys my sedum. This is an Angelina. Grows literally on top of my rock beds without any soil. There's more every year. It just spreads, which I think it's beautiful. And I have a whole bucket full of sedums here, different varieties. And they stay out here in our winter, which is 7A. We have snow and all kinds of stuff, and as you can see, come back beautifully every year.